Do you know how to practice correctly?
If you don't, then you need to watch this video. Let's take charge of your game.
Okay, Piers, let's go through poor understanding then. Look, it's so important before you even get into the range and start to work that you understand exactly what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think the way to look at this is that the reason you're going to the range is probably because something's going wrong, generally speaking. So let's say that you're slicing the golf ball. Well, don't just go to the driving range and hit golf balls and hope your slice disappears. You need to understand why you're getting a slice. So book a golf lesson, have a look online, video yourself. You know, these are all some of the things that you can do to get a real good picture of what is actually causing that slice. So make sure that you look at that so you get a full understanding when you're ready for the golf course.
Exactly. That means you can get to the range and you can repeat it, and it's so much easier to get the most out of your practice session. The next thing is then have a plan. So most people go to the range, they get in the car, get to the range, hit a few golf balls, go home, and they've just ingrained their normal golf swing. They haven't really got anything out of the session. So go there with a plan of exactly what you want to achieve from that plan. So for instance, if you've got a slice and you know that you're over the top, you figured it out, you're over the top is causing that, well, your purpose of that practice session might be, I'm gonna go and work at my downswing to fix that over the top. You might wanna write it down in your notes on your phone or just write it down on some paper, the old-fashioned way, Piers. But it's a great way.
Paper? Pen?
So it's a great way to sort of get the most out of it. So you go into the range with a purpose that you can finish and say, I've achieved something there, as opposed to just had a bit of exercise swinging your arms around.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. All right, number 3, the speed of your practice. Okay, so let's go to the golf club here, Andy. How often will you see someone grab a ball in, hit the shot, okay, yeah, well done, get the ball in, hit a shot, repeat, hit 60 golf balls and they're out of there in a shot straight into the bar, which is not a bad thing to congratulate yourself with, but again, think about how the best players in the world practice. They take their time. They'll hit a shot, they may go through a routine, but what they'll do is, if they're, again, let's go with the over-the-top swing fault, if they have a fault in their game, they'll be doing what we call circuit breakers. So the circuit of just hitting shot after shot, they'll be breaking that down and making sure they'll be having these circuit breakers where they may do a drill. They may have some head covers on the ground, or they may be working at their backswing, which is going to help them stop them with their over the top. They're going to do a drill. So make sure you implement those circuit breakers, those drills, into your plan.
Definitely. It keeps you focused on exactly what you're doing instead of just getting in the routine of hitting golf ball after golf ball. So there's a few points so far. If you're enjoying this, remember to hit the like button and also subscribe for more videos every single week. Now, we're getting on to the 4th point, which is not exaggerating the move. Now, you've probably heard in golf, we talk about it a lot, feeling real. It's so important that if you're making a change, what you think you're doing, if you play it back on a camera, Piers, you're not really necessarily doing. So let's say this over the top, this swing fault. So let's say where somebody is swinging over the top in the downswing, and by the time the club is parallel to the ground, the club head is way in front of the hands. Well, we know we'd like to see a little more closer to the hands or in line with the hands if you want to play more of a neutral shot. But to get it here, you're not going to practice feeling that it comes here, because guess what? What's going to happen is at speed, it's still going to be in front of you. So this is what we recommend. If you're somebody who gets it way in front of the hands, you're going to have practice swings and you're going to feel that the club head is actually way behind the hands. So the feel compared to the reality, you might feel this in a swing and it's probably going to give you somewhere between the two. So if you are making a swing change, don't make a subtle swing change. It needs to feel so big, and that will actually really change the golf swing at a faster pace, and you're going to start to see the improvements quicker. So make sure you exaggerate that swing change.
It's probably one of the most important ones if you're looking to change your golf swing for sure. Okay, so look, think about the next one, number 5, the speed of the swing when you're hitting the shots, trying to make a change. So think of everything that you've ever done that you've learned, whether it be the alphabet, learning to walk. It takes time and you go at a slow speed. I'm actually going to get Andy to actually demonstrate on this. So there's no way that if I was saying to Andy, and he's only just found out he's swinging over the top and he's only ever swung down over the top, if I said to him, just don't swing it down over the top at normal speed, he's got no chance. So how would you do that, Andy?
Well, there's a couple of ways. Even on your practice swings, you can swing back and you can really go slow here to feel exactly what goes on. If you can't feel what's going on, you're going too fast. So if I go back here to the top and I want to get the club a little more behind me and shallow, well, if I go slow, I'm a lot more aware of what's going on. I can feel the club head is behind my hands now. It's more from the inside, and I know I'm making a change there. And even go to the point where you actually hit some shots. Let's say you're hitting a 7-iron, hit some 70, 80, 90 yard shots with a 7-iron where the speed is actually really almost like slow motion, because then your attention is going to be away from the golf ball. You've got time to feel these movements and you're going to implement the changes. If you go at fast speed, guess what? Your old motor pattern or your habit is going to take over and you're going to continue to do the same movement. So going at a slow pace is really an effective way of actually making bigger changes.
And what will happen, there'll be a tipping point as well. So you can gradually improve the speed or create more speed, should I say, but there'll always be a tipping point as to when you then go back into the over-the-top pattern. But the way to monitor this is just to video yourself. So get the camera in the correct place and then from there monitor. Well, if I go at this speed, oh, look at that, I know that I'm not getting over the top. But then when you go to a higher speed, you need to monitor again. Am I going over the top? If you go to a higher speed and you're not over the top still, you can continue to work at that. But if you're not ready for that, you drop back down to that slower speed.
Exactly. Now, final one. This is a big one. And if you think about golf, how most people practice, Pierce, they don't necessarily simulate the real game. You know, out on the golf course, you've got all sorts of different situations, trees, bunker, water, hazards. There's all sorts of things to think about. It actually involves a lot of pressure as well. You know, you have a routine, they've got different environments out there, the conditions. So it's very random. Now, if you think about the driving range, we've got a nice square mat. We can get lined up to that nice and easy.
Put your alignment sticks down.
We've got a 7-iron, we hit ball after ball. We've got no pressure. We generally don't go through the pre-shot routine if you practice it wrong. So if you think about people who struggle to get their range game to the golf course, Pierce, and we hear this so many times, their golf course is here, their range practice is here, because there's no consequence, there's no pressure, there's no routine, there's no variety or randomness. So the idea of this is, well, we need to involve some element of your practice that brings you closer to your actual on-course stuff. So involving a pre-shot routine, involving consequence, making sure you randomize your practice, different targets, different clubs, challenging your thinking all the time, because normally it doesn't challenge it. So if you can introduce some things to help you do this, then you're going to find it easier to go from the range to the golf course, and actually it's not going to be too different.
So this is the way to look at this. If you think about your technique, which is really important. Let's say you go to the range and hit 100 golf balls working at technique. So 50% of your training is on that changing, get rid of that over the top. The other 50% should be simulating golf play. So like Andy says, random targets every time, pre-shot routine, making sure you're moving alignment and not hitting the same club, 2 shots in a row. One of the other things you can do as well is actually play the golf course. So you could actually stand there and go, I'm on the first hole at Purton, I know the fairway is 30 yards wide, you hit the shot, and then you judge from there. If I missed my 2 targets I picked on the range, which were 30 yards wide, then if I'm in the trees on the left, I've got to chip one out. If I'm on the fairway, then I hit a wedge or a 9-iron into the green. So you can actually really use your imagination and start to play that golf course. Really crucial that you do that.
It is, yeah. Definitely some great things that you can involve in your practice. Technically wise there, if you can make those changes from a technique side of things, but simulate the real game, get the practice closer to the real game, you're going to transfer it onto the golf course and start seeing some results. That's what it's all about, Pierce.
Indeed it is. 2020 for Meandmygolf is going to be a massive year, and it starts with this, the Ultimate Irons Coaching Plan, an 8-week plan which is going to get you hitting your irons the best you can, working at technique and working at playing on the golf course as well. So make sure you find out about that. Click the link in the description. You'll see our other coaching plans as well. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you soon.
Happy New Year as well, guys.
And Happy New Year, of course, yes.